Have you ever thought about leaving your job to start your business? If you have, I just wanted to share some points that I wish I knew before my first or my second attempt of leaving my job to start a business. My name is Agnes Wanja. Welcome to my channel and let's get started. Financial readiness. This is so important. You're leaving your sort of guaranteed monthly pay or guaranteed weekly pay. You need to make sure that you're able to replace it until you start earning money through your business. How much money should you have? I would say 6 to 12 months of personal expenses saved up plus startup cost. So you need to think about money for your business, as well as if you're a mother or a father, you've got children, you need to factor in that their expenses don't stop. Just because you don't have an income anymore, their expenses don't stop. So you need to factor in 6 to 12 months. When I left my job the second time, I'd saved up some money to last me a while, to help me get the business started. But the first time I left, I didn't have anything. I literally was like, I've had enough of this job. That's it. I'm going. And I left. And I quickly realized that, that was not the right thing to do. So the second time round, I did have quite a lot of money saved up. But even that eventually ran out. And I'll explain why. But when you're thinking about it, think about the extra cost and any additional cost that might come up. And you have to think about things like insurance, retirement, or your pension and the taxes. So with being employed, your tax comes out before you get your money. So you don't get a chance to say how much tax, or it comes out before. When you're self-employed or you have a limited company, you pay the tax after, so at the end of the year, or the end of the financial year. And it's your responsibility, if you're making money in your business, to keep that money and save it up so that when the taxman says this is how much you need to pay, you have that money available. And that can be really challenging if you're not good at managing your finances, or your expenses are just more than what you can manage, basically. So it could be that your business is making money, which is liable for tax, but you're just spending so much and finding yourself in a very difficult place, not being able to pay it when it comes to the end of the year. And simple things that you'd not really think about, your sort of private pension pots, your life insurance, if you was covered with the employment, your insurance for your business, that's also another expense that you have to think about. So there's quite a lot of other things that you wouldn't really think about when you're employed that you need to now think about and find ways to cover that. Before you leave your job, it's obviously really important to do a lot of research. And one of the things you need to research is similar companies to one that you plan to go into. And this is because it would be good for you to have a rough idea how long it will take you to break even. How long is that going to take you? Because some companies actually take a long time. It could be up to 3 years before they break even. So they're making money, but they're just not breaking even. So think about, depending on what business you're going into, think about that. Action points, that's really important before you leave your current job to start your business, is think about creating a personal and business budgets. And the emergency fund as well is good. But having a budget that clearly outlines exactly how much you need to be making each month. And that's based on what you're making in your current employment. And then taking into account the additional cost that may come along running a business. The second point is market validation. So this point is really important, especially when I left my employment last time to start my business. I really, really, really was convinced that there's a market for the service that I want to offer. And I knew this because I did some research on it. There are people that are going to need the service I'm about to offer. Yes, okay. But that's not enough. That alone is not enough. You need so much more than real customer demands. But that's the basis of just making sure that somebody out there actually needs your service or the product that you're trying to offer. Good ways to test this is maybe start doing it as a side hustle before you leave your job, and wait till it gets to the point where it's too much for you to do your job as well as the side hustle, but it's making you enough money to then make it into your main source of income. And sample sell, you could, if it's a product that you have, you can start selling samples of it and just getting feedback on it and seeing how people actually respond to what it is that you're offering. And it's really important. I did a lot of online workshops for my services, which really helped me and gave me that confirmation and validation that yes, there's people out there. But you have to remember as well, if you offer it for free and people take it on, it doesn't mean you have a business, because people might just do it because it's free. People might take your sample because it's free, but if they were to pay for it, they might think twice. So it's important to offer it at a rate, and that will go into a story which was really important and basically was a big failure on my side when I left my job to start my business. I'll go more into detail shortly. So another point is to understand competitors and your unique value. So I'd give an example. I always like to say, how many shops sell milk? Like, there's a lot of shops that sell milk. And I think that's somebody's quote. I don't know who originally said it. But there's a lot of shops that sell milk and they sell out of milk. Otherwise, they won't be selling it. So it's a low-based competition because so many different people can sell it. It's just convenient to the people close to it. And the unique value is probably location. People will buy it because that's the closest shop to them. But you might have a service that is very competitive, but also is based on unique value. So a lot of people might be doing it, but only a few people actually successful doing the thing. Understand your competitors, because the numbers from your competitors, thank God we're in the age of AI, because you can literally find so much information on your competitors just by researching it. You can even get your competitors' accounts to see how much money they made last year. It's all out there. So make use of it so that you're not going into this blindfolded, because there's absolutely no reason why. In this day and age, there's just so much information out there to help you. So an action point is to just run a small pilot or pre-sale to gauge the interest in the service or the product that you intend to provide. What had happened was I left my job to start my business, and it was all in personal development, and I was so confident that it's going to work. This is definitely it for me. Goodbye to the career that I had at the time. And I started, as I said, I did the market validation process, so I knew there's a demand for it out there. And I put in hours, and I really managed to get in front of some really good people. By the time I got in front of the important people to talk to them about the service that I'm providing, I was running out of money. So I was so desperate for money at that point. And I got in front of them, and it was a housing association, and I presented my program to them, and they were really impressed. And they said, yes, this can definitely help some of their residents to build confidence, to overcome self-limiting belief, which will then hopefully help them get back into work or get back into education. And it was going so well up until the point they said, because you have not done it before with housing associations, would love to pilot it, but for free. And at that point, I was just like, I can't offer this service for free. What I can do is offer a discounted amount to help both of us and to help me get started. But they were like, no, they won't allow us to pay for it because there's no evidence base to show that it is successful. But if you can give it to us for free, we can arrange the venue, we can set up everything to get the program going. And I was just like, no, you got to pay me. At the time, I felt like I was doing the right thing. But now, looking back, it just wasn't. But it came out of desperation of not having enough money. And as I said, I'm a parent, got 2 children. Their costs don't stop. And that's one thing that I found out very quickly. Is that even though now your incomes may be reduced because you're not earning as much as you were when you were working, you're building a business, everything that was outgoing with regards to the kids is still the same. So you have to make sure you're making that money. So yeah, long story short, basically I lost that opportunity. And after that, I was able to sort of get in front of other people, but the opportunities was just not as great as that one. Because if I did and I gave it to them for free, it might have been a struggle, but it would have just been a few more weeks maybe, and I could have been running that as a full-time program. So definitely a big regret. Definitely I wish I had put aside more money before I left, and definitely wish I knew what I know now. So it's all part of the process, all part of the journey. I went through it, so hopefully you won't have to go through it. So I say that to say, although I say to you, charge for your services or your product that you're planning to provide, also use your common sense and don't let money be the barrier to you reaching greatness. And last but not least is mindset and lifestyle shifts. This was very, very difficult. As I said, you're not earning as much money anymore. Everyone's going out for Saturday brunch. You can't join them because you didn't get paid this month. You're still waiting to make money in your business. So if you choose to go straight into leaving work and starting your business rather than just doing it as a side hustle slowly and wait, be prepared for a big life change, and be prepared to also wear many hats and to self-manage. A lot of people leave their jobs to start a business because, I don't want to work for anyone. I want to work for myself. But working for yourself is a lot of work. You can't just call in sick if it's just you. You can't just take holiday if it's just you. If you've promised a service or product to people, they need to receive it. Otherwise, that's bad feedback for your company. You can't, people complain about working 9 to 5. When you're working for yourself, it might be just like 12 hours of the day, 14 hours of the day. You lose count because you're literally just in front of your laptop, you're on the phone, you're making calls, you're thinking about all these different things. But once again, thank God we're in a new kind of age where there's literally services. There's a website that I use that helped me a lot called Fiverr. And they offer services such as like you can promote your business. If you've got a website, you can promote your website for less than £10. You can get someone to, I don't know, like just get you a marketing plan. But you can even use that on AI platforms where you can tell it exactly what you need for your business and it'll be able to plan it all out from beginning. You can start a fresh business on AI and it will give you the simple breakdown of everything you need to do. So it does reduce the amount of work, because before when I started, or when I left my job the second time, I had to write all those emails to all the companies and all the schools I was writing to. It used to take hours. But now you can do it simply. You can do it so much quicker. You can get so much more done in a short space of time, which is also a good reason to do it as a side hustle, because you will have plenty of time. In the evening, if you say to yourself you work 2 hours in the evening towards your business, you can get a lot done using the artificial intelligence that's available, using the tools, using the Fivers and the people per hour websites. A lot can be done. Prepare for uncertainty and income swings. So the beauty of being employed is every month you get your paycheck, every week you get your paycheck. It's the same, you kind of know what it is. When you're working for yourself, unless you've got a really good contract that will allow you to get payments, even if you sort of miss some days or something, you're going to have a lifestyle change. Because taking things like annual leave, if you're employed, you're still getting paid. But if you're working for yourself, you're not getting paid. So you need to factor that in. Where you could have taken 2 weeks off work, you can only take 3 days now. You can only take 5 days now. But I say this to say these people who have really successful businesses and they're able to take a lot of time off. So it's just being able to be in a position where you work really hard and have a solid idea. It's so good to network with people who also are in business when you're starting off in business. I went to so many different events. I was able to network. I was able to meet people who put me in front of other people who will then help me on to the next step. Surround yourself with a support network. People you can share the stresses of starting your business and moving on to the next step. Or it could be that you want to get your business from where it is to the next level. Being around the right people and having the right conversations really do help. So do think about that. And networking events, a good platform for that is Eventbrite. I use that to go find events. You can find free events on there. You can find lunchtime events where they're paid for when you go and network with other people in business. And it's really good. Is assess your risk tolerance and set routines and support systems. So starting your own business is not for the faint-hearted. And it's not for people who are not disciplined. If you're not disciplined at your job at the moment, you might not be disciplined enough to do your own business. You need to understand that setting a routine for yourself, for your business, is so important. And it's going to be one of the reasons why your business will win, because you'll treat it as though somebody is paying you to do this. And not, oh, today I'm not feeling like it, so I'm not going to do it. Or today it's raining. No, you need to be so on job and just be like, okay, I've got a goal. I've set my goals. I've done different videos on setting goals and even micro goals. Today, what do I need to achieve? Before I can do anything else, what do I need to achieve? It has to be that mindset. And I would love to get some comments from people who have really successful businesses. I'm going through the process again now because I went back to work again. So I'm going through the process again now and doing it as a side hustle and then growing my business to then be able to do it full time. So do subscribe to the channel. You can follow the progress and leave any comments that you have. And as I said, if you've got any successful businesses, any tips that you can help us, please do put your comments there and share the video, like the video, and I will see you on my next video.